49er truck stop, you cannot smoke in anymore. And the lady, when I asked, she's like, "Oh, we're changing the laws here in Kentucky. We're not allowing indoor smoking."
So that's a state regulation, right?
Look,
so anything with smoking is going to be a state regulation. So there's a lot of misunderstanding of what federal rules are and what state rules are. So you have to know, what do I take to a state? What stuff do I take to Washington?
What's bigger, the state or the federal? What's bigger?
So actually, what's more powerful? The state. They're way more powerful than the federal.
The state is powerful in the personal aspect of it. You have federal regulation. You have federal regulations with state. You have federal regulations with state and federal when you own a business. There's two entities that oversee you. I dare you not to follow the federal.
So in trucking, you have to look at the federal regulations. The federal regulations that are.
I can barely hear them. Somebody's got a TV or something on.
Well, we got feedback of some kind. Make sure everybody's muted.
I want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at the powerful parts, right? The powerful players. If you're wanting to change something in a state level, you would work into the state level. So you work through your county commissioners, you work up through your chain of command on that direction. So when we say state power is stronger, it is stronger than federal, because federal, it just goes into your houses, senators, your representatives, the bills passed. But we just talked about this earlier, right? Me and Boss Man could write a bill, right? Tomorrow, sit down, draft this thing out, make it nice and beautiful and muska, and then it gets into the House and they say, we don't want this in there. They delete it out of there. They delete this out of there. They delete that out of there. And by the time it gets up to to be voted on, you might have one sentence in there before it's done. We're on a state level. You can actually write a bill, and 99% of that's going to stay into the bill, because they're going to say, hey, you know what? This is the part that the people wanted, because you're going to go through the state, and you're going to go out and get 10% of the voters or 20% of the voters to say, hey, support this bill. So then you have the people talking. On a federal level, you don't have that.
Right.
You have 435 congressmen saying that they push it.
Finish your point, Sean, but I want to chime in after you do.
But yeah, I mean, so when we say who's more powerful, players, I would definitely say state levels. I mean, state can actually get anything done. So
I highly recommend that you don't pay your state income tax and then don't pay your federal income tax, and tell me who's going to come after you harder.
I don't think you want to be seen on a podcast recommending anything like that.
So that's different, though, right? That's a whole different. That's a whole different part of the government, right?
No,
that's different part.
What I'm trying to say is, if you are a business entity, you have two governments that you have to follow. You have to follow your state government and their rules and regulations. Then you have your federal government. Now we're talking about trucking, which falls under both those categories. States have different laws. The federal government has different laws. Your penalty.
Kinda.
No, so they do.
Federal laws actually. They write the rules, right? And they say, hey, states, we want you to adopt this law in your state. So federal really don't have too much to say in trucking, and that's the problem that we're having right now with the FMCSA, is they're saying, hey, our hands are powerful than any state, and it's not. They're finding out that they are actually got no power at all, and they're trying to use laws from '86 and to try to.
You want to know that? I know where the government has the actual power at.
Hold on.
Government has the actual power
Personally, I'm going to take back my show, because you guys are raping the show. Let me tell you something. I partially agree with, not to cut you off, Griff. I partially agree with Fate, but I also partially agree with Sean, because on the one side, Sean, you're right. When it comes down to whether or not the federal government has the right place, you're right. The FMCSA doesn't do enough, and they can't do enough because their hands are tied. And if you want my opinion, I frankly think the federal government needs to actually do more control within trucking in terms of who gets in and who gets out, and what rules actually say how to get qualified and do the job. As far as your argument, Scott, yeah, states, they should do more to control within their borders. and what happens in their DMV offices. So to answer your question, yes, you're right. The states do have a lot more power and a lot more control, but they're not exercising it. That's the problem. We got too many people walking in with these CDL mill generated freaking signs that say they passed some tests and they're getting a damn CDL when they shouldn't even be walking into the damn place to start with.
What do you think the percentage of that is?
So 27 states right now.
Low. It's probably low, but even one is enough. One will kill just as easily as a
let me ask you this question.
So 27 states are suing the federal government right now, as of today. 27 states are exercising their rights to say, we were not going to give you, the federal government, your CDL and your social security number. So I think the more we talk about, so the more you talk,
it's their it's the constitutional right that the states have power.
So so would you agree with me on this? People talking about the level 8 inspection. It's showing the states that they live in. Somebody's going to watch this video and they're going to say, hey, you know what? Did our state give our license information out? Wait a minute. You're going to wake up more people. And the states are right now saying, hey, we need to exercise our rights more than what we have been when it comes to this trucking stuff.
I agree with that.
So the more you speak, the more voice you put out there, the more power, the more amps into a speakerphone, you're going to get people waking up and talking to the right people. And all it takes is one. There might be somebody in this live tonight that's watching us saying, wow, wait, Alabama, are they one of the 27 states? Why did they give my information to the federal government? So this is how I say the power is within the person, not the government, and then not into the state law. The real power is the voice of the people.
Yep.
I don't like I stated a minute ago, for a lack of better term, like my political affiliation, I could not agree more with you. Like, I think we've lost that in this country where, for a minute to think that at a state level, that's why we're having these conversations right now. States have said, no, we're not following these rules. Okay, all of us in here probably want everybody to be legal in truck driving, right? I can just assume everybody in here stands on the same board that everybody should have a verifiable CDL, correct?
Correct.
Or hold a CDL.
Right.
How do you do that? How do you verify somebody's CDL? Do you have a couple of day waiting period?
How do you tell farmers they can't hire 18-year-old kids to drive without no CDL in most states?
They have an agricultural exemption for that.
I see you backstage. I'll bring you up in a minute.
The states make that law, allow that to happen.
There we go. So what about the flock cameras right now that you see that are being taken out of cities because people are standing up saying, "Hey,
what
we don't want it."
What I'm saying is, if you want that, right? If you want your CDL to be controlled by a state that has to verify it and say it takes a couple of days, why don't we have 2-day gun laws then? Why are you able to walk into a store and purchase a gun the same day with no verifiable proof that you're gonna a law-abiding person?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
because it's a constitutional right. It's a constitutional right.
It's like a TWIC card when you go down to the port. You're registered with the government. It's in a nationwide database. You can instantly access it and everything. Then you can go and go onto the port if you had a TWIC card, and you don't have to be escorted because you've been verified. And there's some cases when you go for a firearm with the FBI and all this other stuff. If you don't have anything against you, you usually can walk out with it. So, but you're right. There's
not a handgun.
So that brings me back to the question, right? Of what is too much of them collecting data on there, right? So you already have to have a TWIC card. You got to do a fingerprint for the government. It stays in the government entities, right? But what they're asking for is to say, hey, we want to give DriveWise and Easy Pass your information so they can actually see you go underneath there, then report it to a cop. So it's the same thing with the flock cameras that we're seeing right now. There's people in cities are saying we don't want flock in our city because it's too much privacy. So can truck drivers do the same thing as what's going in with flock? I
we
think
should.
we
We should be able to.
The problem with blocking way you're going on, Sean, you're correct. There are going to be idiots that have access to the system that are going to abuse it. That's where so many people are afraid of it.
Yep. Question, guys.
That's the biggest thing. It is everybody's afraid of. If you have, say, you got a Barney Fife that was picked on in high school and wants to become the cop. He thinks he's 10 foot tall and bulletproof. He has it out for his bully and everything. He can go in and put his bully's name in. He can find out where he's at 24/7. That's not.
Oh, that's wrong.
Yeah, that is wrong.
Question. Let's take a deep breath for a second. I want to humor a guest in the audience. I got a comment on screen and an image on the main screen. Truck City Media. I don't know if you're able to, but pull up a picture of autonomous Warner trucks from the front and ask everyone if they think it looks like Shrek. So, tell me, guys, what do you think?
John, or KSG, to answer your question, to me, it looks like a job replacement for everybody in the industry that is looking at one of these. So that's my answer. But
there you go. There you go.
Hey, that's what you can do to your Red International.
Hey, you want my opinion? It looks like a bunch of Smurfs on wheels.
Really?
All right, guys. I got to go to bed because somebody's got to wake up and make a delivery on time tomorrow.
Well,
it won't be you.
I was going to say it could be me for a while because I'm off until my birthday. So have fun.
You guys have a good night.
Make sure you stay involved. Make sure you get involved.
Later, Pete.
I'm not involved.
I don't care. Yeah. Look, I don't care who you are.
You know what? I'll be 100% real with you all. Like, I will be 100% real with you all.
It takes 2 minutes.
I got
mute, please.
Quick.
I got a short amount of time
Yep.
of doing this, and I'm done. And the plan that I have doesn't require me to be involved with society too much.
Yep.
So
think about the kids that are coming into trucking, right? Would you like to see them actually be able to shift gears and kids out there blowing the horn with the arm pump, or would you rather them not be able to do arm pump?
I would tell a kid that's coming into trucking, you should not drive a manual transmission truck. They're not nearly, like, this is from a business standpoint, they're not as nearly economical. I would tell somebody to come into trucking, make sure you learn another skill and only do this for like a year or two and then get out. Trucking I hate trucking. Like, the only reason I do trucking is because I'm really fucking good at it. I make a shit ton of money and that's it. And I have no other skills because I chose to do this as a career. I hate this. I hate this.
So do you think a 21-year-old kid thinking like at your age, being able to have that same opportunity that you had to spend 2 years or 3 years into trucking to move to somewhere else? Or do you think that not getting involved in sending a paper doesn't really set the guidelines for them?
It will be good for a person to learn how to drive a manual because you never know if you're going to be thrown into one. But
I disagree with that.
Well, I know how to drive both manual and automate.
I'm just saying, think of the future of trucking.
I don't agree with on some automates, especially in a Cascadia, is when they lock it out where you can't go into manual and put into manual gear when you're going down the hill. That's the only thing I don't agree with on some automates. On my personal truck, I can lock it in manually on the gear, but all the Cascadias I've been driving, I cannot lock it. If I'm going down a hill and I want to put it in an 8th gear and just let it ease its way down and just tap on the brakes going down, I don't want to have to try to put on cruise control.
Have you ever noticed this thing called an engine brake that does that for you to where you don't have to tap the brake at all?
Well,
because no matter how heavy you are, if you are driving correctly, you're in a gear to go down that hill anyways.
Yep.
You should.
If it works right, but sometimes you get into Colorado where it's pretty steep at times.
What if I told you I still drive a 34?
I've been driving truck 26 years.
I've been driving for
half that time. Half that time has been in automatics. Half that time has been in manual transmissions. You are a lot safer in an automatic transmission than you are a manual transmission.
Yeah, and you're right.
And
I just like the gear out.
Hey, I don't agree with Fate all the time, but I have to actually agree with him because I've got about the same much time as he has driving. Yeah. And since I started driving auto shifts, whether it has that auto locked out or manual locked out of it, it will automatically, when you're going down grade and you've got that Jake on or engine brake, it will automatically downshift to the proper speed as long as you're not touching that throttle. You touch that throttle, it shuts it off.
But the reason why I mostly complain is I got in trouble so many times going across Interstate 80 where the speed limit's 75, but the company's at 68 on their speed. I get in trouble for just going down the hill, and I don't like riding the brakes going down the hill. That's the only thing I got to complain about that.
So I still drive a 3406B with no Jake brake on it, right? We have 5 trucks.
I'm going to take back my show because you guys are talking like
it all depends how you drive the machine.
You guys are talking like I'm about to hit some buttons here, and I don't want to do it. But you guys are talking like a romper room here. So give me a word in edgewise. This is my show. Fate, I just want to tell you something. The biggest and most important thing I think needs to be transmitted here, and the only part that I disagree with you on, is simply the fact that if there are 4 million or 3.5 million, whatever the number of trucking related people are, drivers, carriers, that kind of stuff, I know automatically before I even start saying a word out of my mouth that I'm not going to get every single one of them to jump on board with my cause. And I know instantly I'm going to get some pushback from some people. And I don't expect every single one of those people to instantly jump on board with every single argument that I make, agree with you versus agree with me, think Sean makes a good point or likes Griff's point of view, or even cares if I let Semi-Corey even speak tonight. The main point that I'm making is that everybody has a chance to make their point be known, and we can't do it without making the effort. So that is the purpose behind the show. That's the purpose behind We the Truckers. And that's the purpose behind every bit of debate here. So
I don't disagree with you at all. I'm not the right person to ask what you should tell the 21-year-old. Let me be clear.
True that.
I'm not the right person because I know what this job entails. And like I said, I've been doing this a long time.
I just don't want people tuning into this part of the show if they're fast forwarding and scanning and get the wrong idea. I mean,
I think it gives them
misleading. Yeah, if you don't do it right.
It's not misleading to have somebody say that this is a fucked up industry.
It is.
You should learn how to do something else.
Yes.
I don't think that's a bad statement.
I also want to frame it correctly too, because I can sit here all day long and show, all kind of images about truckers taken back, but then I can just as quickly take that image down and put this up and joke about Shrek and make us look like shit. I mean, it's all in perspective, and it doesn't matter how fast you do it or what way you do it. It's just what people see when they come into a place or even a conversation for that matter. So, and that's what I want to be careful of. I mean, I'm not sugarcoating anything, but I'm certainly not going to, go out of my way to make it seem like something it's not either. So that's
and here's the thing. If more people got involved, right? So you're saying it's a shit industry, right? If more people was to use their voice and say, hey, you know what? We're not going to stand up for the prices that we're getting paid. We're not getting this. We can make this industry one of the back to where it's supposed to be at, where we're all getting paid the fair amount, and we make it great again for the next generation. It's our opportunity to leave what we found better for the next people. And we had that in the past to where, the older generation said, hey, you know what? We're jumping out of here because they're pushing ELDs. That was the major in history. More truck drivers quit when ELDs came out than there ever has been in history at one time. So, now we're into this system and it's like, how do we fix it? How do we get the problem solved? it's smart-minded people, critical thinkers looking into how to fix it, right? You put educated, you put the right players in the right spot at the right time, you will get change. So, and it's all about getting involved in talking.
Wait a minute.
John,
I don't
glad you joined us. Go ahead.
Can I say something to him?
Go ahead, Fate.
Real quick, and then I'll be done.
Go ahead.
I don't disagree with anything you just said, but like the idea like this. Listen, people talk about pay in trucking all the time, right? And you just brought up, oh, get pay up, do that. Like that is 100% like an individual thing, you know, in my mind. I don't feel like over my 26-year career, I have ever been underpaid in trucking, right? I own a house, cars, cabins, other properties. Like, I don't feel like I ever got underpaid in trucking. Now, somebody that worked right alongside of me when I was in the union thought we were underpaid. Well, that was because he was horrible with his money. That's not an industry. I think a lot of the problem with pay in trucking is an individual problem, not the pay. You know.
See, and this comment on screen perfectly demonstrates what I was talking about a minute ago. We the truckers seems to interpret your response and your talking as if you hate trucking. And
I most certainly do hate trucking.
He said it. What are you talking about?
Well,
I hate everything, dude.
Well, then here's the no-brainer question.
I think I explained why I'm doing what I do.
I caught it.
I make a shitload of money. I am independently okay.
Well, and I get that. So you make the decision. You want the money, or do you want, do you want the other thing?
He's in it for the business. He's a businessman. He's in it for the business.
Know this.
He's in it for making money, and he's very smart about it.
I know this. We know this. I'm sitting here busting his balls over it because I know exactly what he's in it for.
I make more money than the guy sitting to the left of me and the guy sitting to the right of me. Why? Because I'm better than they are.
Well, you're
I'd like to say something.
being a punch bag though too. Everybody picks on you.
Yep.
I'd like to say something to this.
I know you don't.
Please, please do.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hey. Yeah. I came into this industry. I was 21 years old, and I wanted to be a truck driver because I enjoyed driving. I enjoyed seeing things. I enjoyed being around people and talking to people. I knew there wasn't a lot of money in it. There could be money made, yes, but you're not going to get rich overnight, as a lot of people think coming into this industry. It's never going to happen. Someone with your skills and your abilities, Scott, you've been working at it for years. You're an owner-operator. So, yes, you know the ins and outs and the perks of knowing what to do to run your business and make money. And I don't bash you at all on that. That's why you're still in it. If it wasn't for the fact that you didn't know what you were doing and you were losing money, then you would wind up giving it up and saying to hell with this. And a lot of drivers out there that are new don't understand this. They need a good mentor like yourself that wouldn't be saying, I hate trucking, more or less, but would say, this is what you're going to run into. This is what you're going to have problems with. This is what's going to happen if you decide you want to buy your own truck. Give them good ideas and give them stuff to go off references on what to do or not to do, so they make a decision all about on their own afterwards.
That's a great way to say that, but I also think that's up to the individual. It's not my responsibility or anything I want to do to convey anything to anybody else about this industry. It's not my responsibility.
Did you go to truck driving school? Did you go to school? Did you go to truck driving school, or did you just jump in a seat? Yes.
He got grandfathered in, like a lot of us did.
So you got grandfathered in.
I didn't go to truck driving school. No, I worked for a company that I got my CDL through.
Yeah. So would you say it's fair?
He got properly trained.
Would you say it's fair? We know what Warner's paying right now as a newbie coming into the industry. It's about 58 cents to 60 cents a mile as a newbie,
you're
right?
Making $60,000 a year.
Yeah, so we take a veteran and we put him into that position and we say, hey, can we get him more money?
What?
So we put a veteran in Warner's truck. He gets 60 cents a mile. Because he deserves more money than that, right? If you're making 125,000 owning your own truck, or 250,000, whatever the number may be, should truck drivers get more, or should bigger corporations take more money out of their pocket and the corporations stay rich?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't believe in corporate greed, but
That's
I
what we
don't think
fight.
I don't think anybody's forcing you to drive for 58 cents a mile.
Sure,
That's your
that's what.
choice.
No, that's what they gave the contract to Warner, that they're gonna try to hit all their veterans. So these commercials that you're gonna see with $3.8 million.
Nobody is telling a veteran they have to drive a truck.
Man,
That's their choice to drive
they
it.
have to go to Warner.
But how hard is it when the government's saying, hey veteran, get in the truck, we're going to pay you this much, but in reality you're not going to get paid that much. Is what I'm getting at. Like, if the government's running commercials to eat Blue Chew, what do you start eating? If you have that problem, you start eating Blue Chew, right?
As Scott had stated,
what's Blue Chew?
It's all
Hold on, what's
individual
Blue Chew?
and everything. It's all individual and the individual person. A person can go and start driving a truck for 58 cents a mile as long as he doesn't have a lot of overhead and bills. But if he comes into this business with a lot of bills, a lot of debt and everything, you're not going to get anywhere fast. You're just going to fail. Myself, I did not have a lot of money.
I only hope.
For my own
I only hope.
So would you say it's in favor that if we say we want more money as truck drivers, I'm not talking about myself. I own my own company, right? I own my own trucks. But I'm looking at the guy beside me that's coming into this industry, a new kid. My nephew wants to be a truck driver when he grows up. And I don't want him to have to go through schooling, because they're forcing it for you to have to go through schooling. You got the free ride in, right? You got grandfathered in. The newer generation that's going to come into this industry is going to be required to go to college classes to be a truck driver and get non-fair wages. I mean, these are the things that...
The only thing about a CDL school is to give you the knowledge of the basics. The way I put it and the way I look at it is, I went to the School of Infantry in 1997, and that was going to give me the basics. But once I got to my unit, it was a totally different world.
Insurance will control who you can hire. Insurance controls who you can hire. So if you can't have 2 years of experience, I can't even hire you. If you don't have 2 years with a clean record, I can't hire you for certain things for my loads that I haul. So when I say let's fight for better pay, I'm talking about the new average person coming into the industry.
Mike just put up a comment. Go drive for a major company and tell me that you're not underpaid.
I never would do that. Like, that's what I'm trying to fucking say.
You have that option.
I had an option before I even had my CDL. I had an option before I even had my CDL. Everybody's got an option. You brought up that they're going to have to go to college.
Right.
I have a college graduate. My child just graduated from college. The job that my child has, who is sitting in $100,000 student loan debt now.
Right.
That's horrible. I hope they can get into a truck and drive and pay that off.
What I'm saying is, anybody that has to have a skill, like you pay for that skill. You earn that right to drive a truck. If that means you have to go to truck driving school to do it nowadays, that's what you have to do. And if they're going to pay you 58 cents for a year, that's, let's say the average trucker runs 120,000 miles a year. That's $60,000 a year. I don't know how much truck driving school is. What is it, like 12, 13 grand?
It runs between 4,000 up to about $8,000 on average.
You think Warner's charging the government when they say they're paying for veterans and they're only going to take $4,000 out of the pocket? You're funny, Grumpy. They're paying for housing. They're getting food. I mean, come on, man. You know better than that. Right now, the average is about running around 9,000 to 16,000, depending on what college you go to. If you go to a tech college, it's a little more. They're actually putting them in housing at the school for 4 weeks.
Then they're getting ripped off because my school I went to, Central Tech, does not charge that much, and they are a state school.
Yeah, if you drive, right? These guys are actually putting them in the dorms for them to actually stay in the dorms to get their CDL.
Yes,
I have a lot of respect.
What I think. what I think is funny, and not to cut you off, Fate, but this man on the left has been sitting here trying to get a word in edgewise all night. And it's funny he
No,
gets
he's
a word
not.
into a comment before he actually gets to speak. So I mean, you've been listening to this the whole time. So I'm going to give you 60 seconds, man. Tell me what you think about all this.
Yeah, it comes back to a lot of things. Like I said in the comment, I mean, I was talking to this random guy at the dog park today.
Yeah.
And he was asking me how trucking was, and if there was any money in it. And I talked a little bit about how trucking, the state of trucking right now is still difficult, but it's getting better. And he asked me, I mean, do we have a union? And I had to say,
most of us don't.
right, but I mean, well, that's what I told him. Like some of us do, like Teamsters with UPS or whatever, but most of us we're like 85% independent carriers or independent owner operators, so we don't really have representation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like the biggest problem is we don't have representation. Mm-hmm. And frankly, I think the pay that we make, what we make is it's a joke and it's an insult compared to all of the work that we put into trucking. And
do you see personally what we the Truckers Unite Now, what Sean's talking about? Do you see that as a plus, a good thing, or do you see that as like everybody else that says that I've run into? Now, I'm not talking about everybody on the panel. I'm excluding you from this, but it's just a lost cause. Why bother? How do you see that?
Oh, well, all right. Seeing it from an outside perspective, at this point,
you're not outside. You're
right,
inside.
But I'm trying to like say from an outside perspective.
Yeah.
I would say at this point it's no. I mean, right now all we're doing is talking. I mean, when is action going to start to happen?
I'm doing it, my friend. We are doing it.
Can I ask somebody to do something real quick?
No, hang on. Let me.
Let him finish, from the inside, I'll do that. Yeah, go ahead. Quickly.
Now, from the inside, I mean, yeah, we are talking a lot, and we're trying to come up with a game plan. So I'm saying that on the inside, but then I mean, to get the attraction, we need to show more. We need to show the outside what's going on the inside, and
just don't tell Vince.
You're talking. I get what you're saying, Semi, but you're kind of talking in circles. Go ahead, Faye. What do you want to do?
Who's got something they can Google with real quick? Who's got a Google machine that they're not using for this live stream?
What do you want to
Google?
Google the average income in America.
All right, hold on, give me a sec.
And tell me what it is. I'm gonna guess it's
middle class.
What, 64,000?
HydroStream, 1972, last state for smoking in restaurants.
What?
Indianapolis. Good fact. I didn't know that.
No, I want to be clear about something too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hopefully I've been clear enough. I 100% support like what Sean's doing and stuff like that. I'm the wrong guy to like teach. I'm not.
Do you want the average individual income or family income?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's gonna be hard.
Family income's probably gonna be in the upwards of like 105,000. I got a feeling, maybe.
No.
Not even close.
$83,000 for a family annual income.
Okay.
Individual income is 64.
Okay. And Warner's gonna pay 58 cents a mile for a new driver, and that driver doesn't get paid enough when they're right at the average pay of Americans.
You're looking at an average. You're looking at an average that somebody like working at McDonald's or King being home every night. A truck driver is a high risk paying job.
Wait a minute. You should be paid to be in your truck while you're not driving it.
And you're sitting at a shipper. Why not?
You're good.
If you're stuck at a shipper and you can't drop that load and physically go home or do whatever you want, you're doing straight. You should be paid for it.
I'm sorry, I can barely hear him.
He's saying if you're doing the work, you should be paid.
You should be paid. If you're sitting at a shipper, you should be getting paid. You should not be giving 2-3 hours away for free to be sitting at a shipper.
Yeah.
You should be getting paid for it, right?
You're still you're going to be giving away more than
paid
2 or 3 hours.
If you're being paid per mile.
Yep. Warner is going to cut your clock off.
And that's hold on. You're being paid to drive a truck per mile, right?
Right.
Maybe logic, like my thought process is wrong here, and I this is just my opinion. If I signed a contract that pays me per mile that I drive the truck, well, that's what I'm paid on. The miles that I drive the truck. I don't feel like I should be paid for sleeping in my truck or not being home at night.
Now
to add to that, Scott, there are very few companies. I mean, very few companies, because I know a person that drives for one of these companies that actually pay you for a 34 while you're out on the road. He's bragging about it all the time. We know who he is.
Yep.
Mike says you compare an apple to a grape, so be careful, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes down to it, what Sean's saying is true. When you're talking about getting a load and getting paid for the load, and you don't factor in the fact that you're going to be sitting somewhere for 6 hours waiting, that falls on you. I mean, the detention. Don't jump on me. The detention is a problem, and yes, it sucks for everyone. But you're the one that agreed to whatever the provisions allowed you to sit there for 6 hours without getting paid. That's a problem on the person accepting the load. That's not a problem with the industry.
Or the
that
job.
too. Yeah, that too. I mean, if you're smart enough to defend Fate's point, if you're smart enough, you're going to accept the freight and the load contracts that spell out clearly you're paid after 1 hour or X number of hours, or for
How about breakdown?
Job
How about breakdown?
spells out.
How about breakdown?
Breakdowns too. Yeah, good.
Oh, we don't want to
Sitting
talk
on the
about
side of the
that.
road waiting on a tire shop nowadays for 6 or 7 hours. I talked to a guy in our live. He was sitting for 12 and a half hours waiting on Love's truck stop to change his tire. You think he got paid for it?
Yeah.
Grumpy can tell you
Hopefully he
that
did. If he didn't,
Grumpy
he shouldn't work for that company.
Yeah, Grumpy, tell him about
think Warner's going to pay you that?
for 2 days.
I don't know.
I worked at a company that I wound up. I was broke down more than I was driving. I always had to go in and have things fixed. And breakdown pay really sucked with them. $100 a day. That's it.
I know people that are spending more than that to eat a day, Grumpy.
You got a point. You got a point. He says you
that
can't
enough.
compare us to the average worker because we work twice as much. Yes, but why is that?
You work on a you're technically working 14, like you have a 14-hour window to work in, right?
Technically you're working you're working more than your 70-hour clock.
Well, can you look that up to see if that's on a 40-hour base income? That's 60,000. I bet it's going to show you that's only
hang on one second. Does somebody got us on another? Does somebody have?
I typed it in.
Somebody have us on another device?
Let me be clear. I've never worked for Martin or whatever we're talking about.
Warner.
I don't.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you, though.
I've never worked
Hold on,
for
guys.
a shitty company.
Yeah.
Does somebody
Hold
have
on,
us on another device playing through YouTube right now, because it's echoing back at everybody? I'm getting feedback.
That may be on semi because he's the only new guy that joined us.
If you do, please mute that device.
Yeah, it's not me, bro.
Yeah,
I got everything closed out except for the StreamYard.
Okay.
I mean, if there's drivers that are getting like not paid to be broke down, and like that's horrible. And yeah, fight for that. Like,
yep.
I 100%.
There we go. That's what we're fighting for. That's what we're fighting for. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's things that people don't see. And no disrespect to you, but you're focused on you, right? You're focused on, hey, I got to get my money to get my end result. I got to get my gold. I got to hit this every week to get that number for me, right? Right. But then we don't look at people that are getting advantage taken of, right? We're veterans that are trying to come into our industry to make a living out of it and getting false promise.
I agree 100%.
Fake promises saying, hey, you're going to get $100,000 a year. but we know the facts are not there. So do I want to stand to help support those guys to be able to come into this industry to support and feed their family? Absolutely. And then we all can do that at once.
I want to make sure I just heard you right. Somebody told a veteran they're going to make $100,000 a year starting
Six figures. Yep.
That's
That'd be your fearless leader.
That's a lie.
Yeah. That's Sean Duffy. we watched the video 3 weeks ago, man. It was horrible.
The comment on Spain, Mike from William Trucker says if McDonald's employees can raise Cain about not making enough money, then we as truck drivers should get paid better too.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I want to add to that, boss man. I want to add to that, boss man. He brings a good point, but if you will look back, the wages with McDonald's and all these other fast food restaurants, they did that during the pandemic time to keep people working that wanted to live off of the damn unemployment, because they had all that free money coming to them. No one wanted to work. So they said, okay, we're going to pay you $17 an hour to come flip burgers for us, which in turn comes back on us as the end user that goes to buy stuff from them and cost us more in return.
But the price of shipping has never, pricing and shipping, if you talk to the old school truck drivers.
We are one of the top 10 dangerous jobs in the country that should be worth more than we currently get paid. So
yeah. So if you talk to old school truck drivers, they're saying back in the 60s and the 70s they're making what we're making today. And here's the problem: who's actually keeping the money? Is it shipping? Because the price of products have gone through the roof. Everybody can agree on that, right? Look at a gallon of milk. Look at the buying clothes. If you got any kids in school right now, the average person just dropped about at least $2,000 to get their kid to school by buying new clothing, book bags, the whole 9 yards. But our price of wages for trucking has not went up where it belongs to be, right? Yep. If we look at the
minimum wage is and has always been a joke. It doesn't even keep up with inflation.
Absolutely, it doesn't. And to me, if you look at the products for what it costs that they're making compared to shipping, absolutely. Can they go up? Yeah, and not even mess with the inflation that's already inflated.
I have a quick question. Real quick.
Go ahead, Griff.
I wanted to ask both Scott and Bossman, which method are you running on? Are you running for your truck by mileage or by day rate? What is your goal for that? Neither.
You know what's sad? If you look at autonomous, it's going to be 85 cents a mile for them to pay for the technical stuff to use.
Sean, wait a minute. What are you getting? Hold on. What are you getting at, Griff? Why are you asking that question?
Well, earlier we were going on about detention and getting paid for it or whatever a little bit.
Right.
And some people try to go by the mileage. So if I remember right in the past, Scott, you've got at least $3 a mile in a year pretty easily, and that's how you wanted to run your business at stuff and everything throughout the year. Then sometimes, but I've also heard people where they got to make at least $1,000 a day to break even, whatever, keep the
summarize your point within one sentence. What is the basic thing you're getting at? Because you're all over the map here. Because you can't conflate $1 per mile rate with what you actually feel is a livable wage. The two aren't the same.
Okay, it depends on what your overhead is, but my personal opinion, between $3 and $3.50 a mile, it should be what you should get on average now for most freight. It don't matter where it's.
What if I told you somebody could pick up the same load you currently get for $5 a mile?
Yeah,
and make less money make less money than you.
I know, and that's called contract rate in a way.
No, that's called poor business management. The point I'm making, and to answer your question originally, I don't work on a mileage basis. I work on a load basis. When I accept a load, I see what the gross pay is. I already know what my net's going to be before I even take the load, before I even sign the contract. Otherwise, I don't take the load.
Well, which is a good call on that.
I know what Griff's talking about because I used to share my numbers online, right?
Okay.
So
then go ahead.
He's breaking down a yearly recap of what I did, where every mile I turned in that year, I had a revenue of $3 and I think it was $3.21 per mile. And that included, but that included breakdowns, that included everything. I don't look at something at a per mile or a daily rate. I haul a lot of the same freight. I specialize in what I do with multi-stop stops. And I know
hopefully
at
that's
the
the
end,
one you were talking about, Mike. I keep going, Fate. I'm just communicating too.
I know at the end of the week within $300 what my gross revenue is, and I happen to know the cost of my operation. So I just make sure, I have goals just like I think everybody does that I want to obtain every year. And I haul freight based on those goals, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And that's why I say that the younger generation coming in this industry should be able to do that, right? The way we're going right now, the younger generation that's coming in that's going to be forced to go to college and have to go big with a big corporation because guys like me can't hire them because the insurance says that I can't. They have to have 2 years of experience. Is it fair for them to come in at a low rate and be taken advantage of until they can get that experience and then go with a guy like me?
Okay. Here's something I want to interject because somebody's communicating very well with me in the comments. Michael Lead Trucker just made me aware of the fact that I kind of overlooked the comment. He says in his comment, try living in Phoenix, Arizona on $58,000 a year with a family of 4. Okay. And then he goes on and then says underneath that, and then tell me you're not underpaid. Now that's a perfect description. I don't know if that puts what you're talking about, Griff, into perspective or not.
No,
but
he's right.
Honestly,
he's right. It depends where you're at. It's basically what he's used example. Try to live in New York City on $58,000 a year. You cannot do that.
Well, I mean, you could. You're just not going to live in a house. You're not going to have any water. I mean, you could, but I mean, that's why there's a cardboard box. That's why there's 50,000 truck drivers in our industry right now. 50,000 of them that are homeless, living in a truck because of the wages are down. So when I look into this research,
that number is even current. I think it's higher.
It's 50,000 by choice. It's right at 50,000. But here's the problem though. Is it done by their decision, or is the food of cost? I did a study on just buying number ones across. When I went out for a whole week, I bought number one everywhere I went at each truck stop.
Everybody else has experienced wage increases, but us. So yes, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem with it. Like if we look at the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, they were still making the same amount that we are kind of today. But the difference is
the 60s and 70s, the dollar was able to go a lot.
Absolutely, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
50,000 too many.
50,000. We're all on the same page now.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
All right, go ahead, Fate. We're gonna wrap this up here soon. So around the table, last thoughts. Go ahead, Fate.
Well, no, I just had a question for Sean, and I'm trying to think of what it was. Hold on, come back to me. I'm going to think of it. We're talking about driver pay.
Okay. Think about it. Griff, quickly. Last thoughts.
Oh, I got it.
Everybody, the industry that we need to regulate some industry stuff, but we need better pay. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things in. I can't even really go into a whole lot, so being clear on it.
Yeah.
But you gotta have everything under control, bills, income, everything, wherever you're at. So you can
let me make it easy for you, Griff. When it comes to getting what's right and what's fair, what is your thought on that? Because we've covered a lot on tonight's show, we really have. So I mean, we can bounce all night long. What's right is we get paid, and we get paid fairly. So. You go from there. You tell me what you think.
You got to be able to get at least the majority. If you're going off the load board, you got to be able to get at least the majority of the money off the load board.
Yeah.
You can't.
The employee?
No, as an owner operator or even running as a smaller company.
We should not see people like Mike leaving these comments. That's what I'm fighting for. people in a place like Phoenix, Arizona, a family of 4 living on $58,000. That is ridiculous, you know. And that's a family of 4. That's, you know, and I've got the same thing going here. I won't tell you my income, but I've got a family of 4, and I barely make it. I'll be honest.
So let me ask you this. Let me
ahead,
ask
Tate.
you this, and this is kind of directed towards Sean, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Challenge
so
accepted.
I've had no, it's not a challenge.
It's
a question. Because I don't want to get too personal.
Remember, we're wrapping up.
Trucking,
so
on my trucking stuff, right? So I owned another business, right? And I happen to live in a state that I have to carry workman's comp insurance. I have to provide health care. I have to do all this stuff, right? So let's just use it as trucking, right? Let's say I'm a company hiring a truck driver. They agree to work for 60 cents a mile for me, right? It's actually costing me like 95 to $1.05 per mile to have that employee, right? With all the employee benefits and everything I have to carry on that employee as a business in the state that I live in, right? What's reasonable for the business to keep? Because they're putting in all the risk. The business owner is putting in all the risk. You as an employee are drawing off that employer's risk.
Mm-hmm.
What is a fair dollar amount for that employee to be paid versus the company that needs to continue to make payroll, to continue to pay taxes, to continue to improve equipment?
So you bring
because
up
at that $1.05, let's just use trucking, at $1.05 per mile for that employee, even though they're only making 60 cents, that doesn't give the business enough to stay viable.
Mm-hmm. Right. Sure. And they don't. And here's the thing. That's why I'm saying, when I say better pay, I'm talking about all the way across the board. So if we look at the inflation of how much things are cost versus what it's costing for shipping, if you go back in the day, I want to say it was about 15% of whatever you were that you were making in product. They took 15% of that and put it aside for shipping. Nowadays, we're not even seeing that. We're seeing like 2%. So if you take $1 million load going across the country, we're making like 1%. You know, we're making 2% on it. Right. But back in the day, it was 15% set aside. So now, if you was to get that average back right and get that 15% back, you would be able to take that extra cost and keep yourself afloat, plus give it to your drivers. So it's not a company. When I say fighting for more money, I'm talking about what is fair on what is the value that you're selling it at the grocery store versus the value you're selling it for shipping, right? And we argue with brokers all the time that go out and get this contract freight, and they're like, well, they set $1.98 aside to move blueberries, right? $1.98 a pound for blueberries. When it's going all the way from California to New York, that $1.98 is stretched way out, right? Somebody's putting more money in their pocket. The consumer is not getting that break. Whoever the farmer's not getting that break. Who's the one that's getting all that money and putting in their pocket, right? So those are who we should be going after.
I can actually address that a little bit because, like I said, I owned another business. I know, how do I say this without giving away too much detail? On some things, the revenue that you think is there isn't there. So let's say I'm a broker, right? And I do all the legwork to find the loads that you're going to haul, Sean, right? I found the customer. Sean calls me. Sean can give me 2 trucks a week. I got 2 loads a week. And I'm going to pay Sean $4,000 to move that freight. The load that the shipper's paying is $4,200. So I'm keeping $400 a week off the freight you're hauling. Mm-hmm. There isn't much more to give, because my time to find that freight for you to haul, you know, it might take you 12 hours to do the delivery. You know what I mean? It took me a year and a half to get that load for you.
So that's why I look at the poundage rate, right? Like when I was talking about the blueberries, if it costs them, if you take 15%, and that's what it used to be about roughly 15% of whatever you built. If you built 10, if you built tractors, if you were in vegetables, it was about 15% of whatever the profit of that truck or of that produce you would get for shipping. It's not even that now. Now most of this is 1% to 2% margin. They're saying if it costs us $1.25 to build that product, we got to make 10 cents to get that for the truck to ship it. You get what I'm saying? So somebody, the shippers, per pound. That's how everything used to be ran was by breaking it down all the way down to the individual. If you were using glue, if you were using whatever it was, they would say shipping cost was about 15% to get that to a consumer. It's not there anymore. So where is that money at? Who's taking that money? And truckers should stand together and say, hey, truck drivers should get together and say, put the 15% back where it's at. And if that was the case, honestly, we would all be in six figures. Every single one of us. Every single one.
If we could actually work on what's in the comments right now, that would make a world of difference. It wouldn't actually reset anything, and it wouldn't make things tremendously better, but it would actually go a long way to helping. Corporate
so we look at tariffs, right? Inflation still went up from tariffs.
Yeah.
But now they're saying the tariffs ain't going to be there anymore. So where's the inflation staying? Why is it staying up so high? Who's making the money that nobody else is?
Yeah.
Invest in
the only thing in my favor is I own my own home and I try to keep my bills.
You're probably right. Investors are probably the one that's making the dough. You're probably right.
Yeah.
I'm 100%.
We talked about that earlier, didn't we, Sean?
I'm saying that from a perspective of, like, it sounds so egotistical. Like, I believe anybody.
Can't help it sound that way.
I believe anybody that takes risks deserves big rewards. That's just where
100%.
And I have spent, not in trucking, another business that I owned, I have spent millions of dollars on equipment that I am entrusting to people to do the job with. But that's if they don't do their job and I don't hire the right people, the burden isn't on them. The burden's on me to make that $1 million payment.
Right. But so you're getting short shafted because the system is short shafting you. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. If you go and look at what the value should be, Walmart used to buy stuff from other people and then they would mark it up 30%, and that's how they made their money, right? Now we're seeing some places are marking that stuff up 50%, right? Mechanics now back in those days that you're talking about, you could walk in and they were only at $50 an hour. Now they're at $275 an hour if you were to go to a Peterbilt or a Freightliner, a dealership, right? So now everybody's saying, hey, we need to be matching what the dealership is. They're not even getting good quality mechanics in here, but they know they can get that $275 because that's what everybody else is getting. But the trucking side, it's never going up. Everything around us is going up, and we're staying at a flat level, thing. I mean, and what's the highest paying load?
Jonathan, my pleasure. Thank you for joining us. And hey, come back next week. Come back.
I want to be clear about something because I feel like I'm going to be honest. I think everybody should be a business owner, right?
You're right.
I understand it's not for everybody, and I'm not saying it has to be in trucking. But I can only speak for myself, Sean. That now I don't fall under the category of working for a mega carrier, right? I get that.
Correct. And we don't, and that's what I keep saying. But we got to look at the mega carriers.
But I can tell you in 6 years, every year I make more money, and that money I make offsets the cost of my operation. You know what I mean?
But we've been in the business for a while. We know how to do that. I'm talking about the new guy coming into the industry that they're going to take advantage of and saying, hey, we're promising you six figures. They're spending $3.8 million of government money. Right. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, so to me, we all should be writing letters and saying, hey, what the heck's wrong with you, Duffy? What do I'll take some of the Kool-Aid juice you're drinking if that's the case. and that's where I stand at, right? I support everybody that's in this industry.
Here, and I'm sorry if I caused. I'm grateful that there's
you
people
are not causing nothing.
Boss man.
We had a very lively. We had a very lively discussion. Never apologize, Faye. It was
People
great.
like
I'm glad
Sean,
you brought up some good points. I love it. Thank you.
I'm just not like I'm definitely not the voice for truckers.
No,
Definitely not
okay,
the voice for truckers.
but what if I gave you the research, right? Stuck it in your hand and said, "Hey, look, this is where we found the loopholes, right? We found, let's just say, for example, I could tell you who the ATA president is right now that doesn't follow guidelines. That's a president, right? Or how about I say lobbyists have this much money that they're putting into this department and this department, this department. Would you be willing to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to stand up and talk about that part of it, because that's the important part of it, right? It's not about saying, hey, what a truck driver does. It's saying, hey, the government that's making the regulations for us are doing it for money. They're looking the other way for $1 million while we're over here trying to catch that $1 million that we're never going to see.
I told you that I went out and protested at my state capitol back in 2001.
We're going to get you back protested. We're going to get you back out there with a microphone.
And I'm not a crazy liberal with blue hair and a septum person.
I'm going to tell Vince he's got a partner in crime, a PIC.
but the reality is I focus, and like I said, maybe this is a downfall, and I'm definitely not a voice. Yep. I focus on myself, and I focus on what's best for my family. And I believe I would tell a person, don't sign a contract if you're not getting paid for what you're worth, right? Like,
absolutely.
I don't believe that corporations should take advantage of individuals. I also realize how much the corporation invests in those people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've done it multiple times. I've owned businesses. I've done it.
Sure. Same. I own 5 trucks, and we own real estate and everything. So, we get into hay, alfalfa. So, I understand all the way around, and I look at the industry and I go, man, how do I leave this behind for my nephew in 9 years, 10 years to come into something that he's not going to have that dream. He's not going to be able to pick up a truck and say, hey, I want to go buy a 379 Peterbilt long nose, 18 speed, 3406, or let's say a C15, pushing 700 horsepower. He's not going to have that opportunity, right? And trucks these days, they're going for $200,000-$300,000. How is he supposed to put a down payment on it, right? So my thing is one of the two: bring our pay up, or bring back down the wages, or bring down the material that we have to use to drive. He doesn't have a future right now. If I don't fight for him, he ain't going to get in a truck. He ain't going to be able to afford it.
I can get on board with that.
Hey, Sean, I have to agree with you.
All right, guys.
So if they want to keep truck prices as high as they are right now, they should make a better quality. I will pay $200,000 for a good quality truck that will run for a year. Not get it. You have to do basic maintenance, but I'm not spending $250,000 for a truck that I just drive off the lot and it breaks down on me. And it
happens all the time.
Yeah,
I've seen them where they 10, 20 miles down the road and it's broke down for a week, and I'm like, and weeks. They ain't got because they're bringing out this new technology, but yet the workforce behind it to support, paying for all, or to fix all these electronics, it's not there. So why did we advance this far in our industry to say we're going to fix it when we ain't even got the parts here, right? Look at the coronavirus time, right? There was trucks after trucks that were shut down everywhere because they couldn't get a computer out of China. And it's like, wait a minute, guys, if you're going to allow the industry to say we're going to make it fall apart, don't be pushing at the driver saying, well, it's a driver shortage, it's a driver's fault. No, look at the mechanic skills, look at the stuff that we're driving on. Now let's see if we actually have a driver shortage, because if a truck driver could stay running all week long without a breakdown, we can move trillions of pounds in no time. But the technology and what they're bringing into our industry, we just can't work with it. And that's where we need to be having our voices heard and saying, hey, enough's enough. And this is our industry, not their industry. It's our industry.
We are passionately having a discussion tonight, 2 hours, 38 minutes long. It is longer than any show I've ever done. You guys are excellent conversationalists. Let me give everybody last thoughts real quick. Grumpy, your thoughts on the best ways to move trucking ahead and make it something worth fighting for in terms of everything we talked about tonight. What do you got to say?
Well, I'd have to say, if you're coming into the industry, definitely do your homework on it. Try to get with some drivers that's been out here a while. See what their opinions are. See what their thoughts are. Learn from your elders that are drivers, been here for a while, and then make a decision. And if you don't like it, then make sure you got something you got a backup plan for.
Yep, definitely. Semi, you got about 20 seconds. Give me your thought.
Oh, in respect to these trucks, I mean, we got to take these Tupperware torpedoes. We got to strip them down back to the basics, so that they're more reliable. And we gotta have more broker transparency. And we gotta figure out a way to put boots on the ground and start making the independents and owner operators. We gotta make their voices heard. And we gotta let their struggles be known to not only the industry but to the world.
Okay, quickly, Griff.
Just keep your nose to the grindstone, stuff, and just try to survive. That's the best thing I can say.
Yep. Sean, 30 seconds, man. Wrap it
up. All right, man. Well, you heard it right here tonight. Go over there to We the Truckers, support them. You'll see me on that website. All I can say is let's get together. Let's join together. Let's get our voices heard. Let's put all our voices on a microphone and let's send it with all the magnitude that we can send it to Washington, D.C. to say we have a problem in our industry and we are going to fix it together. Put us out there in the spot where we need to be at. Put us in Congress. Put us where we want to be at to fix this industry. Let's stop making people that's getting millions of dollars making it a rule for us that doesn't even affect them or has ever even lived the lifestyle we have. So hear it from the trucker's voice. Stop hearing it from the $1 million people that are putting money in their pocket.
Amen to that. Well said, if I do say so myself. Let me tell you something, guys. Trucking's not easy. We sweat, we work, and there are people out here looking out for you. We the truckers, we're trying to look out for everyone and help this industry. Most of the advocates and websites are well off financially, but they're still trying to help this industry. It's a problem, and I want to see if she finishes it next week. It's in every business, basically. Trying to get your comment in. Look, follow us every week, Truckin' City Media, 9 o'clock, Sundays, front lines. We're looking out for you. Remember, it's the trucks that make the deliveries, but it's you that make the difference. Till next week, keep it rolling.